Many thanks for joining us again on the newsroom. The COVID-19 team in Kogi State will now go from house to house to collect samples as the state moves to increase its testing capacity and contain further spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the directive from Governor Abdullahi Ganduje, samples will be collected from all households in the 8 local government area of the state. The emergency exercise is expected to take place within the metropolitan LGAs such as Taorani, Nasarawa and Kano Municipal, where most of the confirmed positive cases of COVID-19 are concentrated in the state. Meanwhile, the Kogi State government has lifted the lockdown imposed on Kababunu local government area of the state over suspected cases of coronavirus. Governor Yahaya Bello announced this on Friday at the government house in Lokoja, the state capital. He explained that the decision became necessary after the results of all the samples taken and subjected to test by the health workers in the local government came out negative. He insists that Kogi remains a COVID-19 free state. The governor's stance, however, contradicts that of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, which report that 3 COVID-19 cases have been confirmed in Kogi State. Well, Nigeria has recorded its highest single-day COVID-19 recoveries after 206 patients were discharged from isolation centers across the country on Thursday. In a tweet published on Thursday midnight, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, said the recent recoveries pushed the toll to 3,535. It, however, announced 350 new cases in 19 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, while the fatality figure surged to 323. After more than 2 months of closure, worship centers in Lagos State are preparing to resume activities despite rising COVID-19 toll in the state. This follows Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's announcement that religious activities will resume in the next 2 weeks. The governor also listed conditions for the reopening of the religious centers. Take a listen.
We will, from 14 days' time, precisely from the 19th of June for our Muslim worshippers and from the 21st of June for our Christian worshippers, we will be allowing all of our religious bodies to open at a maximum of 40% of their capacity, maximum of 40% of their capacity, and we will be working with them as being expected with the Lagos State Safety Commission. But we know that these places of worship have different sizes. But even if your 40% capacity is really so large, you cannot have beyond 500. And keeping that 40% maximum capacity, it's really, really so important, right? And no matter how big your place of worship might be, you cannot have more than 500 worshippers at once. We'll be encouraging people to have more than one service and to ensure that they keep their premises clean, disinfect before another round of worship can take place. We will also be advising that there should only be mandatory Fridays and Sunday services. All other night vigils and other regular services must be put on hold for now until we review our current situation. We will also be advising very, very strongly that persons below the age of 15, because of how well they walk around and how they become difficult to hold down, that they should be excused from the places of worship, and citizens that are above the age of 65. Citizens that are above the age of 65 should not be allowed into these places of worship.
We'll take a break here to bring you more stories. Stay with us.
Mr. Job! What is it now?
Well, what is it now?
Please turn down the volume of your music. It's too loud.
And how is that your business?
It is disturbing me. I can't sleep.
And the same way you are disturbing my right to good music and where I enjoy it. Eh? What's wrong with you? Is there another person complaining?
Maybe we thought that you have lost your mind. Are you having a party?
I'm just respecting you, sir. You remember I paid my husband too.
You will not understand why we are complaining because you do not care about other people except yourself. Look, the transformation we need in this country begins in this compound.
Yes, now.
From you, and I. This your selfishness is an offshoot of corruption. And corruption
Not in my country.
You know, go to your bank.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Senate President Ahmed Lawan has led a delegation to visit Senator Ojiuza Kalu after he was released from Kuje Correctional Facility. Kalu was recently released from Kuje following orders of a federal high court sitting in Lagos. He had been sentenced to 12 years in jail after he was initially found guilty of conspiring and diverting 7.65 billion naira from the Abuja state coffers during his time as governor. The two-time governor and two others were found guilty of fraud in an amended 39 count which was filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. But after spending a few months behind bars, Justice Mohammed Liman ordered his release on the 2nd of June 2020 after listening to an application filed by the former governor. The All Progressives Congress has announced 6 governorship aspirants to be screened for the party's primary election to elect its governorship candidate in Edo State. APC's National Publicity Secretary Lanre Onilu disclosed this in a statement on Friday. He noted that the 6 aspirants have both completed and submitted the party's expression of interest and nomination forms. They include Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki, Osage Izeyamu, Pius Odubu, Chris Ogwemoyi, Osaro Obazi, and Matthew Idiri Yekewen. According to Onilu, the APC is committed to ensuring due diligence and transparency in the screening exercise and learning from its recent shocking experiences. The direct primary is scheduled to hold on June 22nd, 2020. Meanwhile, former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, has urged National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshomole, and incumbent governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, to bury the hatchet and put the interests of the party first as they go into the governorship elections in Edo State. Yari also added that there are laid-down procedures of the party, insisting that such procedures must be followed in resolving issues in the party. The gubernatorial election in Edo State is slated for September 19, 2020, but an intra-party feud between Oshomole and Obaseki has continued to generate ripples among the party members.
As a party man and pioneer party person, I think the entire life is about tolerance. So we have to tolerate one another. And no matter what interests we have, we should put the interests of our party in our hearts. And also, we should look at the interests of the party as a superior than any other interest. So I think it's very, very important. The lay-down procedure is there. The rules are there. The constitution are there. Let us respect the constitution and lay-down procedure of a party, and let us respect one another, because issue of party is not about me, it's not about the chairman, it's not about the president, it's collective responsibility. So therefore, I think it's very, very important, both the governor and the chairman, to fine-tune how they are going to work for the safety of this party and for the purpose to win election in Edo State.
Justice is closed for Janet Ogbonnaya, a mother of 5 who was allegedly drugged, murdered, and buried in a septic tank in Abuja, as police operatives have arrested 3 suspects in connection to the crime. According to a statement by the force spokesperson Frank Mba, Intelligence Response Unit of the Nigeria Police Force arrested the suspects identified as Johnson Emmanuel, Gideon Emmanuel, and Success Emmanuel. Mba said the police began investigating the case when one of her sons, Chinedu Ogbonnaya, reported that his mother, who is 55-year-old, had been abducted and that the kidnappers were demanding a 5 million naira ransom. The police spokesperson explained that they discovered the body of the victim in a septic tank afterwards. Her remains have now been taken to the University Teaching Hospital in Gwagwalada, Abuja for forensic examination, while the suspects remain in police custody. And to business news now, the Senate Committee on Power says it will invite Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed to appear before it to explain how about 1.7 million naira injected into the power sector was spent. Chairman of the committee, Gabriel Suswan, who announced this, also revealed that Power Minister Salim Aman also has explanations to make on why so much money has been spent on the sector and there is little to show for it. Suswan said the move is in line with a resolution passed by the upper legislative chamber mandating a probe on interventions made by the federal government. He said on different occasions the government injected 213 billion naira, 201 billion naira, 701 billion naira and 600 billion naira into the sector, and yet the country is only able to generate about 4,000 megawatts of electricity daily. Well, several videos of police brutality during protests over the death of African-American George Floyd have emerged, shocking many Americans. In Buffalo, New York State, 2 officers were suspended after they were seen shoving an elderly man onto the ground. And in New York City, police were captured on video rough-handling demonstrators as they ran away. The report comes hours after a memorial for Floyd in Minneapolis, the city where he died at the hands of police. His killing, also captured on video, has caused outrage and sparked a wave of protest against racial discrimination and police treatment of African Americans in cities across the U.S. and the world. In sport, Portuguese professional footballer Cristiano Ronaldo has emerged as the first soccer billionaire. The 35-year-old Juventus star, according to Forbes, is the 3rd athlete after Tiger Woods and Floyd Mayweather to hit the $1 billion earning mark while still actively competing. Forbes, via a Twitter handle, said Ronaldo earned $105 million in the past year, that's 2019, making him number 4 on the 2020 Forbes list. His capital for the past year was second only to tennis superstar Roger Federer in the athletic world, and it made him the number 1 in the game of football. And that's the latest from the newsroom. Many thanks for joining us. Bye for now.